All right, can you see my screen? Okay, great. Did everybody see this announcement? There is a announcement. I'm assuming that when you log in, you see this. This is a speaker, Scott Trudeau, and he's, I believe, an employee of Adobe, and he works for the education side of the Adobe company. And so you might want to put this on your schedule. This is where you log in. I've never met him, so I'm not exactly sure maybe if he's talking about just, I don't know that he's talking about Adobe Creative Cloud here, but maybe he is. You know, I was thinking it might be a general topic of just the cloud itself. So rather than CC. So anyway, hope you guys get to go to attend that. This week, we're going to focus on animating text and pictures. We're going to do some simple animations. And I thought we might include music, but I talked to the associate dean, and she wanted to wait to put that in the fourth week. So we're just going to keep it simple and for text and graphics animation this week. I'll be filling in the objectives here later for this week. That will be what we'll focus on for our assessment. It's funny. You can see my arrow move probably, my cursor. I'm moving the chat window around, trying to find a good position. At work, I've got 4 screens, but here at home, I used to have an adapter for my Mac, but then I got a different Mac, and my adapter doesn't work with this new Mac. So this week, our focus will be on working the discussion with using, have you ever heard of ProQuest before? Have you ever used it? How many of you have used ProQuest before? Okay, now it's really important that you use ProQuest and make your reference come from ProQuest. So okay, Kim, the fact is it is not mostly outdated. They stay in business by putting new content. So so I'm not here to defend ProQuest, but number one, ProQuest is a scholastic resource. The internet is not, and so researchers use ProQuest to research what they are studying. And so it's actually professionals use this. So you type in shark and then you copy and paste the password there. So the school, the curriculum department has as a goal to teach you how to be more scholarly than simply to use the internet alone. And going one step up from just doing Google searches is to use an organized content provider. So the information that's within ProQuest is actually organized, and there's a lot about this organization that makes it a very worthwhile skill to have, to learn how to use a scholarly research tool instead of just like the Google search that you're accustomed to. Let me try that again. Google Scholar is, I think, a competitor to okay, Kim, I'll take your challenge, and I will demonstrate to you how you will find things that a whole article, and I will show you that you have some very new content, and and hopefully you will begin to see that you don't understand ProQuest or how to use it. So here in this question, we are saying using ProQuest, locate the article referenced above and then research the articles using the following search. So what is this article about? And the question is Adobe Flash for mobile. So right away, Kim, I can show you right there. This article comes from ProQuest, and as you can see, it is less than 7 years old. So on November 10th, 2011, the Vice President of Interactive Development stated that they will no longer continue to develop the Flash player in the browser. So let's talk about that for just a second. Right now, Drew, this is a citation of the full article, which is here. So the full article you would find if you were to click on this link. So the purpose of a scholarly research article is to cite various research and publications and scholarly reviewed articles. And so so let's ask the question. Here, Adobe Flash is saying we're no longer going to continue to develop Flash Player in the browser to work with new mobile device configurations. Does anybody understand what he's saying? What is Danny saying here in your own words? What happened November 10th, 2011? What was the decision? Anyone, could everybody answer? What was this decision? All right, so, okay, Pam's close. This is not Apple talking. This is an Adobe person talking. And what they're saying is the model of using Flash Player in a browser isn't working for, or they decided not to continue to support the Flash Player in the browser. See, one problem is that the Flash Player is installed on the mobile device normally in the past, and they were having to support the Flash Player on all those different mobile devices, and it was getting a bad reputation, the idea of using Flash Player in the browser on mobile devices. So they said, we're stopping. We're not going to develop the Flash Player anymore. Does that mean that they would no longer support anything that Flash created on a mobile device? Does that mean that they were going to give up completely with Flash, things that Flash created? Very good. You guys have really understood. Right, so they decided to instead support the HTML5 and CSS3 and JavaScript in output, and by doing that, they didn't have to support the Flash Player anymore on mobile devices, and so now in this course, that's why we too have essentially made the same decision, which is we will no longer continue to develop Flash applications that require the Flash Player. That's kind of the attitude and opinion that we've taken. And so as a result of that, in this course, we are not creating those ActionScript Flash files and the SWF files. We are not doing that. Instead, we're creating the Canvas HTML Flash file, and then we're outputting HTML from there. That way, we bypass completely the Flash Player. So, Ashley, you asked the question, do I think it will change and how soon? If so, like HTML 6.5 or something. The standards do constantly evolve, and they evolve as new methods of delivering content are developed. Adobe Flash and the Flash Player, you have to realize that Adobe Flash being built in as in the Flash Player, it was ahead of its time, meaning it was doing things that the browser wasn't capable of doing. And so it was ahead of the curve. And then the browser and HTML caught up, is catching up. It hasn't fully caught up to Swift file output, because you might not know this, but most of the Adobe, most of the Flash games that are developed with Flash are still using the Flash player. But so we now are doing, it's kind of, yeah, HTML was, HTML5 was really targeting, and CSS3 was targeting the capabilities built that Adobe Flash already brought to the table with their Flash player. So it's just playing catch up. And so as things play catch up, it evolves. And so I do expect that we'll have another release of HTML in probably 5 years or so. Yeah, Adobe Flash was ahead of its time at the time, but now that functionality is, or the ability to do things like animations and do videos and things like that, now is built into the browser because it has the HTML5 capability in the newer browsers. Older browsers still lack that, older versions that have been replaced with newer versions. So he continued to affirm Adobe will continue to develop Flash for computers. So isn't that interesting? You know, he's saying the Flash player is going away for mobile devices, but we're going to continue to develop Flash for computers. The Flash announcement was a win not only for Apple, but also for Android developer Google, which also had embraced HTML5 as the video standard for mobile platforms. Wrote Adobe's Winnow Kerr, same guy. HTML5 is now universally supported on major mobile devices, in some cases exclusively. So there was a point in time where the only game in town was the Flash player. And so now, as the HTML, as the versions of the browsers could accommodate that were installed on and developed for the mobile devices, as those browser versions improved and were able to use or do HTML5, then the need for the Flash player lessened. So it came a point where he said, it's time. We don't need to worry about the runtime anymore. The simplicity of apps on smartphones was also a factor, but some are fairly complex. Yep, Andrew says, so Facebook game players will have issues playing their games on their smartphones. Let me see if let me see what we can see really quickly here. Oh, that's just the Adobe Flash website. Here, Stack Overflow's website. Yeah, this would be an interesting read, because it's a developer saying, hey, I'm going to develop a game. Should I go Flash or HTML5? All right, back to this question. So here's the references. Here is the article. And using ProQuest, research, locate this article. It's very easy. You just click on the link after you've logged in. or click on a link and then log in. And then research articles using the following search. So I'll just take these words, copy them. Take a position either for or against the following statement. Adobe Flash is a smart choice for developing animations and games for the mobile device industry. Cite at least one reference in addition to the one cited above from ProQuest in support of your position. All right, so let's click on this link. And there's the article. Now, one thing that ProQuest can do that I don't believe Google Scholar does is it formats the entire reference in APA format. See that? I clicked on this link right here, Cite. And bam, there it is, already formatted. So all I have to do is copy and paste. So that's a nice feature of ProQuest. I don't think that Google Scholar does that. Here I am trying to defend ProQuest. Maybe there is a way to do it. Anyway, yeah, that's another nice thing about ProQuest is that you can create a profile and save. Create a profile and a login profile and save citations. You end up excuse me one sec. Sorry. It's some little sneezes come so quickly you can't hit the mute button quickly enough. All right, cite. So anyways, you can, I'm not asking you to do this, but you can set up your own profile, and when you're doing lots of research, you can add citations to your database and so on. So that's really nice. Okay, so let's get back to the topic. So we have that citation. Now let's look Adobe Flash Mobile. And let's click on, we can click on basic search here. Paste that in there. Click search. 1,713 results. Okay. Let's say, and see down here, this is something that I don't think Google Scholar does, and I know Google doesn't do directly. This is a picture, a pictograph of the occurrences of out of the 1,731, you can see that here in that year, the most articles were written. And you can grab these and move them and say, let's filter only on the last year. So I click update, and now it will filter down to articles that have only occurred in 2015, because that's what I ended up doing there. Does everybody know that you can do that? Okay, good. All right, so oops, did I just lose? Here it is. Okay, so here now we have filtered down to 2015, so about 9 months worth of articles. And Then we can do some more filtering. We can just focus on trade journals, scholarly journals, magazines, newspapers. And I like trade journals and scholarly journals. Include maybe magazines. Click apply. Now I'm down to 24. Now this is something that is available in a scholarly research tool, and that is being peer reviewed. You can, the meaning of peer review is that other professionals were hired to read this article and approve it prior to publication. That's why it's called peer reviewed. And a peer reviewed resource is always essential when getting into the higher areas of research, because of scholarly research, because a peer review exposes the content to other individuals and their standards of their editing standards, rather than somebody just writing an article and submitting it for publication. Peer reviewed means somebody else, one or more professionals, were paid to review it. So we can just focus on that. I'm going to keep it open here just because I'm already down to 24 just by filtering on this year. I'm not so concerned about full text. Okay. Sometimes if you put quotes around one or more words, it emphasizes them. Oops, I didn't realize it was going to reset this. See, and you can also do advanced search here, and you can create logical expressions. So I want to have, for example, Adobe Flash. Let's do this. We'll do Adobe. Let's try those three words in the title. Okay, we'll click search. Publication dates. Let's do this. Last 12 months. Search. Adobe Flash and Mobile. Okay, that was too tight. That hasn't happened. So how about just Adobe Flash? See, what just happened is I was just, oh, see, last 12 months. Maybe I can open that up. Last 3 years. Let's say Adobe Flash in the title, and let's say mobile in the, let's say in the abstract. Click search. Got one hit. That's this year. CS6. It's a book. It's not an article. So I'm going to back out of that. Let's see, Adobe Flash in the title. And see, this is a little keyword there. TI is short for title, and AB is short for abstract. And it put this in there because I went into advanced search. And this is how it interprets that, the things that I had specified. We're just going to open it up. All dates. All right, so our goal is to take a stand on this. Take a position for or against the following statements. Adobe Flash is a smart choice for developing animations and games for the mobile device industry. All right, well, how about we add, I'm going to go back into modify search, and I think I'm going to mobile or games. I think I'm going to do and games. We'll go for the abstract. Adobe Flash mobile games. Developing animations and games for the mobile device industry. Zero results. Let's see. Let's not focus on the abstract, but let's do the document text. That's a little more general. Hopefully that'll help. Okay, good deal. See, now this one was done way back then, but here's one. Let's see. It's October 2009. That's a little older than I would like. Let's go back to our modify search. Text. Let's see. I think I want Adobe Flash. Maybe we'll try taking Adobe out. We'll add Flash down here. And we'll say anywhere, text, abstract. Let's try that. Okay, this is a really good article. It's very pertinent. Because he's tackling this issue of whether or not, and he talks specifically about games. Where was that? There it is. This technically this has been the vision of Adobe Flash Player. Generally speaking, the nice thing about the Adobe Flash Player, and this is pretty awesome, is when you develop it, you can develop it and create one SWF file. And that one SWF file will work on browsers in any of these environments. So it really served to protect or support the developer, the programmer, so he didn't have to create and buy all these different pieces of equipment and make sure that their compiled version works on all of those different computers. With a Flash player, Adobe really owned the problem of making sure that your application would work. And all you would have to do is create the SWF file. And so it's what they call cross-platform, and it's very, very valuable. A very valuable thing to be able to develop your application or your game or your animation or whatever, and it will work everywhere. Now, HTML5 offers a similar promise, but in the olden days, man, you had to create a program that was compiled and linked for every different computer, and it was a bear. So that's a nice vision of Adobe Flash in general. It's called cross-platform development, and you only have to develop once, and it goes and works everywhere. Hold on one second. Let me read your chats. Let me see if I can. Okay, Ashley asked the question, why don't you put anywhere? And I guess I could have done that. Oh, Kim, no, you can use your own article. I just is doing some searching, and I filtered. Let's look for some more. Let's change this up a little bit. Modify search. Let's see, Adobe Flash Games HTML5 and This would be a good article right here, I think. Your browser in 5 years. See, there's a little bit of a price that's paid when you have a cross-platform framework. Adobe Flash would be considered one. Adobe QuickTime is one, and Microsoft Silverlight is one. Java, not JavaScript, but Java is also a cross-platform type tool. Yeah, this is a good read. 3D. See, that's something that will be captured in the future. Right now, 3D is not really well handled. It's not even really well handled in Adobe Flash, for that matter. But yeah, I really like this article. What I'll do is I'll paste the link to it. It's funny, we are in 2015. This must have been written in like 2010. No, yeah, 2010. Yeah, we'll have to see whether or not it comes true. Here's a link to that article. That would be I think, a really interesting one to read through and understand, just because it is a prediction 5 years ago, and he makes a prediction. The author makes a prediction about, Jeff makes prediction about where we'll be now. But we aren't really here yet. 3D games, seamless language translations, grammar corrections, not fully there, but it would be interesting to justify, or either justify, be in favor of, or against this idea. Because frankly, whatever the browser can do is pretty much what Adobe Flash can output. Because if the browser can do HTML5 and CSS3 and JavaScript, and if the Adobe Flash can output in those formats, then technically what the browser can do, Adobe Flash can create. This has really come true. Definitely a browser app world. All right, well, hopefully I've convinced you that scholarly research is a good skill to have, and using ProQuest is not bad. Well, Kim, I really didn't. I gave up on maybe convincing you. I think that you're definitely determined to be negative and not see the value that ProQuest is. Practice makes perfect. But ProQuest is, there are experts in the field that swear by it. So, all right. Well, hopefully you guys can weigh in on that. Kendra has already weighed in. Now, Kendra hasn't used the ProQuest though, so I'm going to have to ask her to look for citations in ProQuest. I don't think that this one will be found in there. Oh, look at that. That article she quoted is found here. The abstract, by the way, is excellent to use as a resource. Citation. See here, the citation is a reference to ProQuest. So I'm wondering if she could instead use this citation for this article. They both point to the same article, but the value of this is it demonstrates to me that you have found this article within ProQuest. All right, so hopefully we're good to go there. Now the assignment this week, if you want, we can take a break. Let's take a 10-minute break right now. So if you step away, if we could maybe put BRB or something that way, we'll wait for you to come back. Or else we'll just start at 10:04, or excuse me, 8:04. Oh, Drew asked a question you haven't answered if we have to use ProQuest. I'm sorry you did not understand, Drew. 1000% you have to use ProQuest. I need to let Kendra know that she needs to redo this. Hey, Kim. Kim says you are the first that makes it a requirement. I am the first that is doing what the school has asked, if that's the case. Here, Kim, I found the quote from the president of the university. This is what the president of the university stated, quote, "We strongly encourage using ProQuest resources to fill in the gaps for readings for several reasons, but let me provide two reasons. One, we want the students to get comfortable with the eLibrary resources. They should be using these resources for research, and embedding them into our courses is one way to do this." He then mentioned another reason, and that had to do with quality resources covering certain course objectives are available in ProQuest. And so anyways, that's stated from the executive director of the university. Can we access, Andrea asked the question, can we access ProQuest without the school? I think that because ProQuest is a paid service, that you need to use our school link. There may be free resources, but I don't know, through ProQuest, but I don't know. Does that answer your question, Drew? Oh. Let me double check that. Let's see. Yeah, it is subscription based. Huh. I'm not really seeing. Of course, it does look like I don't see any free options for students. Either you subscribe or your employer subscribes. I'll be right back. Okay, let's move on to our assignment. So I think everybody's back. So after reviewing comments from week 2's assignment, by the way, that I discovered I can do audio comments right on the right in our homework, and so I'm going to try that this week to do an audio comment feedback for everybody. Basically, it's just going to be like an audio file that you can click and listen and hear my feedback. So I'm going to give that a try this week. All right. And after reviewing comments from week 2's assignment and adjusting your files from the critique, start animating your project. By the end of week 3, you should have at least 75% of your animation completed. You may not have your music or voiceover placed yet, which is fine. But in any animated text and graphics you need to draw and photos placed should be pretty much done and in the timeline for the length shown required. Final tweaking and finishing up will be done in week 4 for your final presentation along with publishing it to HTML5 Canvas. Submit a zip of your FLA, HTML, and JavaScript files for grading. Okay, so that's any questions before I begin? Okay. All right, well, let's get some, I ran across an animation that I really thought was very well done. Now, this is not an animation of a promo. That's not the point. The point, self-promotional video, that's not the point. The point here is to just understand capabilities and potential of animation. And so I'll give you the link to this because I want you to watch it because I want to discuss it as a group here. Here's the link. So go ahead and click on that link, and I'm going to click on it here. I don't have a link to YouTube. I don't know if it's on YouTube. But let me see if I'm sharing my screen properly so you can hear it. Stop share. I think I need to share the screen with audio for you to hear it. Share screen. Share computer sound. Share screen. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to start this.
What are Nadex binary options? Traders take a position on whether a market will finish above a specific target price.
Okay, now that was just an ad.
An interest rate is the cost of.
So let's start over again. And what I want you to do, I'm going to stop at about every 5 seconds. And what I want you to do is make some observations about this, what you see. And, or here, okay? So far, let's go back. Okay. What have we seen so far? Okay, so that is a reference to a company or a website or a brand, very first there, even registered. And so this says Investopedia presents, and so it's definitely an introduction. You know, could we do something similar with you and your brand? JKA Design presents and then you tell the story about yourself or okay, let's go back. All right, so we just saw a screen, a splash screen, lasted about a second with that brand in it. Then it went away. And did you notice that there's a transition? What is an animation or a transition? Is there one at the beginning? Very, very beginning? So let's analyze that. Yes, right, Drew. Good, Miranda. Yeah, so the very first thing is the splash, and there's no fade in. It just is there. But then, as Drew pointed out, there's a fade out. Okay, so let's watch that again. Fade out, and then it was very interesting. You see we've established a different font. Investopedia has its own font, but compare. I actually don't.
An interest rate is the cost of.
I actually don't know the name of the fonts being used here, but you'll notice that Investopedia has its own font, and this is definitely a different font. So it's a big, significant font change. Definitely not a correlation between the font of their brand and then the font of this explanation here. So you can study the R's and the E's, and so obviously it's deliberate. This is a little more informal. That this font, their brand is more formal. Gonna sneeze again. Sorry. Maybe not. Sorry. I'm doing my best to stop. We little aside here. The California fires. Thank you. No, the California fires are just bringing in all sorts of ash into our air. My eyes are itchy, and sneezing left and right, and you can just hardly see. And here we are in Utah, so it's crazy. Anyway, so very good, Drew. Drew made the observation that one is a picture, the other is text. Very, very good observation. Yeah, the very first the brand is a picture. And it fades out. There, that's a picture that fades out, and this is text. Yeah, it's text definitely because it's going one letter at a time. Yeah, Kim, it might be impact, but I'm not positive about that second font. Yeah, California, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington fires. Okay, let's first analyze what we see, and then we can go back and check in on the audio. Maybe even do that next week. So we watched it animate out interest rates. It spelled it right out. Now, could you do something similar to this, where your very first page is your own brand, and you say, and with your picture, your brand, blah, 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 presents, and then this page, this next page could be your name spelled out. Or, let's see, I'm trying to think how realistic this would be. Maybe you could say, instead of presents, you could put your brand and your logo and say introduces, or I'm trying to think. Let's see, introduces, let's see, your brand, introduces, presents. I don't know, I think we'll move on. But I think you're kind of getting an idea of something you could do there on your screen one, and then followed by possibly some text. And this text, that interest rates is obviously the title for this whole thing. Interest rates. You could just put your name, Chip Brown or whatever, and spell it out possibly. Let's move on. Okay, did you see that wipe? That was a wipe right there. White background. Okay, so here we've got white background, and then a wipe right there. Okay, everybody see that? It was a wipe, and you could see that the edge of the wipe that brought in this this new background. You can see that edge was not strong. It wasn't a strong edge. Let's go back. See, it was actually a fuzzy edge. I wish I could slow this down. So, a wipe that introduces the background, and then not long thereafter was animated text, smaller font, same font, smaller size, same font face. And it was pretty cool how it was animated, because I'm not even sure how to do that particular animation. I'll show you. Because it kind of blows up. See how it kind of blows up? That's an animation I'm not familiar with. I know how to do an animation of one letter at a time. But this kind of goes from small to larger. And it really kind of does a whole. I like how the placement of, there it is, and then there's the definition. So they introduce small terms, and then right there, and then the definition. They keep that term, the defined terms right there on the screen. So I think that's a very good continuity. Yes, Kim, I will be demonstrating how to do some of this in Flash. When I say I don't know how to do it, the answer is no, but the ones that I do. Phil, you asked the question, would you do that for a portfolio? Yeah, we're trying to make it a self-promotional movie, actually. I was corrected by the associate dean because I originally was calling it an animated portfolio, and she corrected me and said, no, this is a self-promotional movie. So I changed it to be, because I was the one that misunderstood her. Well, it was like the week one. If you've done an animated portfolio, it's actually very close to the concept of a self-promotional movie. So don't worry about changing your. I've seen your storyboards, and they're in line with what we need to do in this class. So it was just the wording. I called it an animated portfolio, and she and Caroline preferred that it be called a self-promotional movie. So it opened up the context just a little bit more than just animating your portfolio, and I thought that was good. Oh, David, you said you can show what? What can you show? Oh, really? Just the little text? Um, I do know how to make text grow. Maybe each one has to be animated. I was wondering of a way of doing it for all the text. So maybe I do know how to do this. That right there. Maybe they're animating each letter and making each letter not only appear but also grow. Well, oh yeah, see, it starts really small. I might be able to do this after all because I know how to, I was going to show you guys how to make it grow as well as make it appear. Notice they keep the their logo in the lower left up on layer 1. And as you see, a very important way of doing this particular one, and this is, Dave, I think you actually had the same model where you moved, it was like a virtual window into a larger animation. And you just moved the window around. So this is like a viewfinder into an animation. Yeah, that's what I think too, Kim. Yeah, you can see it. It definitely smart. They start really small. It's really small and it grows. Yeah. See, you can see that they're doing a constant zoom out too. See that? Zoom out. See, the panning here is just really well done. Very gradual zoom out. See that? Now I'm going to let you listen to it. You probably have already listened to it, but two babies. That's awesome, Maria.
The stated interest rate on a loan, sometimes called the nominal rate, doesn't tell the whole story. Because of inflation, the purchasing power of every dollar lent out to an individual or a business tends to decrease over time. Lenders take this into account by calculating what's known as the real interest rate. Take a one-year bond that offers a nominal interest rate of 6% annually. The lender doesn't know exactly what the
All right, you're probably noticing this. They have a track of the song, and then they have a track of the audio track of the speaker, and then they have a track of sound effects, little noises.
inflation rate will be, but figures that it will be close to 4% over the upcoming year. The expected real interest rate is the nominal rate minus the inflation rate. We're left with a real interest.
As you can see, they're also animating or making little whoosh noises with the text too. Now, I'm just giving you ideas here. I'm not saying these are the requirements.
Rate of 2%. While 6% may sound like a good return, the investment pays far less when you consider that the funds could be worth 4% less the following year. Of course, the precise impact of inflation can only be calculated after maturity. When a lender or investor subtracts the actual inflation rate from the nominal rate, he or she arrives at the realized real interest rate. In our example, if inflation turned out to be 5% instead of 4%, the real return would...
All right, I think we're good for getting some ideas on movement of animating text and pictures and so on. That's awesome, Maria. Maria has 2 babies on her lap. Okay, now let's start working on the assignment. So let's start really simply. Let's see. Okay, well, let's start. I'll bring up last week's assignment here in just a minute. Let's just start with just the concepts of animation. Okay, HTML5. Okay, I'll leave the stage this size. So let's see. Animating text. We saw a lot of different ways of doing text. I'll start off with the simple, where we click the text tool, and let's see, size 36 points. Okay, I'm just going to do a text, 72 point times family for now. And so right now that's an object. So I hit click out of the box, choose my selection tool, select it, and now right click, convert to symbol. And we need to have this become a symbol in order to animate it. So I'll just call it by the word it is. We'll leave it as a movie clip. Okay, so now we've got a symbol on frame 1. Let's say I'll go out 40 frames. Click Insert Timeline Frame, fill that out. Okay, so if I just do an animation as this, it just is a word that sits on the screen without any animation. So let's say we want to have this fade in instead of just be there. So let's say we want to have take 1 second for the fade. So after 1 second, let's just go to frame 24, and we want a change to take place here. So we're going to insert in this this time we're going to do a keyframe instead. And what we want to take place during this time period, actually I haven't changed the layer name, but that's fine. What we want to take place during this would be a classic tween. So do a right click, create classic tween. By the way, I'll do this 2 or 3 times, so if you can watch the first time and the second, third time, we can you can do it while I'm working with you. All right, so now it's a classic tween. So let's scrub back to frame 1, and let's reselect our symbol. It's selected now. It's got the blue box around it and a little circle here. And then let's choose a color effect for this animation. So again, we're now back at frame 1. All right, let's do an alpha effect. And watch what happens when I do this. If I click alpha, it immediately goes away. And that is because the alpha effect starts off at 0%. And that's exactly what we want in this case, because we want to go from being transparent to being seen by the time after 1 second it has occurred. So let's click play, and there it is. So the first second it goes from being transparent to being fully in view. Okay, now you guys try that on your computer. If you want, I'll do it one more time. I'm gonna undo it all, and I'll do it one more time, a little quicker this time. Text tool. Let's do photography. Select, move it down here. Okay, right click, convert symbol, photography. Okay, let's move out to, let's go out to frame 48. Insert frames to fill it out, or F5. Let's say we want it to appear after 1 second. So we click here, insert a keyframe here. And because that's going to change, and we want, in this area, we want to do a classic tween. So right click on that, create classic tween. And let's move the scrub down to first, reselect it, and choose the alpha color effect. And that should be it. So for those of you who are at home watching, can you give that a try? And if you'd like, you can share your screen. I can stop sharing mine. And if you'd like to share your screen while you're attempting it, anyone may share. Would anybody like to share their screen? And you don't need to share your audio, just your screen while you're doing this task. No one wants to go for it. Okay.
Chip, I'll share it if you walk me through it. I can't find how to do the alpha thing.
Okay.
Okay, it's not allowing me to share.
All right, now it should.
There we go. Okay, so what you said was to put in a keyframe.
Well, yeah. So first of all, what line are you going to?
Logo 1.
Okay. So it looks like you've already got a motion tween on it.
Well, I have it where it comes in.
Hold
And
on. Okay, do that again.
okay. See, actually, it starts back here, and the background comes in, and then the logo comes in.
Okay.
And that's where I was going to have it appear, but like I said, I can't find where you got the oh, oops.
Well, what do you got selected right now? An image?
Actually, I think it is
It's a motion tween that you got
it's a
selected.
symbol. Yeah, it's a symbol.
All right, well, let's go back to your properties.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Okay, click color effect. There you go, right there, and then alpha. That's it.
Okay, so I want to bring that back to 15 and then have that at the 0.
Yeah. Wait a second. Did it?
Yeah, I know what I did.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, 1 second. Stop for a second.
I'm stopping.
Okay. Now, what is the thing that is selected right now? Do you have any idea?
As far as in the library,
Well, I'm going to give you a little hint. Whatever your properties tab is showing indicates what is selected. So your properties tab is showing what is selected right now. You're over here in the properties tab on the properties panel over on the right.
motion tween.
There you go. That's right. So right now, the thing that has your focus right now is a motion tween. But in order for us to do and get to the screens and the drop downs that we had on my thing,
Right.
you need to be selected on the text symbol or possibly an image symbol, depending
It's
on.
an image. It's an
Okay.
image.
So choose your selection tool, upper left, and then reselect your. Okay, there you go. Now you've got it properly selected.
Okay.
Okay, can you see the blue box around it? And then
Yes, I see that
the registration point right in the center of that
right
little
there.
thing. Okay, good. Now you know that your focus is on the correct thing. So and now you already found it. So
Okay, and then when I bring this up to here, I want to change that back to 100.
all right.
Well, let's give this a shot.
Did you see it work? By the way, if you want to go slow motion, you can just slow down your frames per second for what it's worth. Make sure you're selected.
All right, what do I want to do?
Let's see. Why isn't it's letting you change your frames? Let's see. I'm wondering. I'm going to have to let's see.
Take control.
No.
Oh, wait. Off to the right here and change it.
Okay.
So, what, change it down to about 10?
Yeah, you can do that. Now I'll slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
Good job. By the way, you can use the comma and the period on your keyboard. Comma will go left one frame, period will go right one frame, and then you don't have to use your mouse. So just click comma several times.
Oh, okay.
Really nice. Comma several times will go left one frame, period will go right.
Okay. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I think maybe I should stretch that out a little bit more.
Yeah, the fade, because it
How
happens.
would now? That's the one thing I've got some problems with. How do I get rid of this?
Do a right click, and then it should be remove keyframe.
Oh, clear keyframe?
Yeah, clear keyframe. I think that's the one that you want in this case.
But it goes position scale. That's what juiced me up.
Okay. Let's see. We can undo it. So just click all for now. Let's see if that gets rid of this particular keyframe, what you're doing on there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Let's give it out here. And I'm trying to remember how I put that in there. Was that an insert frame?
No, you already got the frame there, so it'd be a keyframe.
Position?
Normally, you can just let's have you use the menu across the top, and let's see if it just defaults. Insert, timeline, keyframe.
There we go.
If he scroll down further, it says remove keyframe.
Okay, good. On that,
Oh, there, remove keyframes. Okay, I see it. Thank you. Okay, so
good. Good. Excellent.
that's a lot better. Now, I know you were talking about putting the music in later and everything. The one question I have is, I'm thinking about doing some, verbal audio track. And what I'm wondering is how to like reduce down the volume to the area that I want to talk, and then have it come back up. Is there a way of doing that?
Okay, that's getting into the audio editing tool, and I'm going to defer that one to next week.
Okay.
Because that's a little more technical than I want to get this week. But when you select your audio track, go ahead and select your audio track there.
Okay. Boom.
Just do a right click on that audio track. Let's see what it's going to let us do here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I thought that it would give us some options right then and there to go into. When you double click on that audio track, does it bring up the audio editor? Yeah,
I've never tried.
Because I'm getting that's the layer itself. But when I'm there's some slight differences between what you can do with the Swift file and what you can do with the in the HTML, and I'm just, the audio editor is one thing that I haven't yet gotten ready for next week, and so so we'll have to wait till I get into that a little further and to make sure I understand the difference.
Okay. Now, my timing that I did on my storyboard was for like a minute and a half at 24 frames per second.
That's good.
So if I reduce it down to like 10, I'm going to have to reduce the framing that I set up.
Well, let me say this. I will not mark anyone down for anything longer than a minute and a half. I just try to give an upper bound there, not for the purposes of it has to be shorter than, but more because I'm much more interested in it being longer than 30 seconds than I am to be shorter than a minute and a half. So I'm personally am not concerned about quantity being going overboard.
Okay.
But you can play with your frames per second. You can actually probably go back to 24 frames per second because you extended out your or you might even extend it out some more like you did a minute ago. You can accomplish the same thing by just moving that keyframe or removing it and then recreating it further down.
Adjusting it further, yes.
Yeah, and you would accomplish the same thing, and that way you wouldn't have to compromise the integrity of your 24 frames per second content.
Even that works, though.
Yeah.
How I brought it up, it didn't. It wasn't like boom all of a sudden there. With moving it further up, I think that looked better.
Can you do it one more time?
Sure.
Yeah, I like it. And look at that, you got your logo lower left. That's awesome.
There's things, I've been having some troubles with it, and I've been going over the videos. And, I've been trying to take my time without busting my computer for getting upset about it.
All right, well, are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Is there anybody?
I'm not scared.
Yeah, good. Is there anybody else who would like to do what Drew just did? share your screen and get get something working on your screen. Anyone? Was that Drew? I thought that was Drew. Was that Phil? Sorry, Phil. I will remember next time.
That's why it was images and design by Phil, not Drew. No problem.
All right, so I think we've got. Oh, so we just did the fade in. I'm not saying that you have to do this, but some other ideas for your animation is we've got fade in, but you can also, for example, change the size. This is what this is what Dave was talking about. Just kind of playing around with it here. I think maybe what I'll do is I'll back it up. And instead of starting large, I'll start small. This is let's see. Okay. All right, so did 8-point right there. And now let's go. Let's see. We'll come out here to 48. Insert frame. Okay, and then here, insert keyframe. See, the registration point is okay. So let me see if I got that. No, yeah, I forgot to put it in between. No, I didn't do it yet. Oh, let's see, what am I doing wrong? Just playing around here. Let's see. Insert timeline keyframe. Let's see here. See, my registration point is there. Not sure if I did it right though. That's one way of doing it. Let's see. I just did a transformation there. What I'm trying to do is do it like the one example we saw where it just kind of exploded. Or just grew right there from very small. Okay, so let's go frame here, insert frames. Insert keyframe. Transform. Let's see. I want that. I want this one big, and then right click, create classic tween. See how I'm doing. Yeah, it's not really like that one. Maybe it's because the other one does it really fast. I'll have to play around with it because I want to figure out how to do it just like that that other one did it. But hopefully that'll give you some ideas on tweens of text. And we'll work on tweening of images a little more on Wednesday night. By the way, you can also do movement of the text. You probably already knew that. You can put the text out here. But I don't know if this really would look too good, but insert frame, and then insert keyframe. All right, click create motion tween. Keyframe. That's another thing you can do, just kind of like we did on week 1. All right, so there's 3 different types of tweens there. We just did the color effect for the alpha tween for a fade in. We did size tween, and then we also did a motion tween. We could also do a color tween, but I think we've run out of time. What time is it? Yeah, we've run out of time. So stay tuned Wednesday night. If you have any questions between now and then, let me know. And to answer your question, yes, similar things can be done with images, and we'll work on that Wednesday night. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to stay. If not, thanks again for showing up. I'll upload this video during the next hour. It takes about that long to process and to upload and to create. So I'll post an announcement. Yes, similar things can be done with images, definitely. Definitely, you can change the time frame. Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening. Good night.